Julian, Jack, hey, congratulations on this new animated film, Boys Go to Jupiter.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Nice to
much.
meet you and great to chat.
You know, I love this film. I saw it at the Animation is Film Festival, and I was wondering, I was like scratching my head, going, "Gosh, this is such a good film. When is this going to come out and stop making those, that festival run?" And finally, the time is here.
We had to let every festival get sick of it. We had to take it around the world and take a year. And now, well, I'm so glad you're at Animations Film. Jack was there, right? I think.
I was
Yeah.
there. Absolutely.
I
So
I
was
had to, yeah. Ava was there and Chris,
Ava.
and I had to miss it because my baby had just been born. So at Los Angeles round two, here we are.
Well, Jack represented you well at that festival. So, Julian, let me throw the first question to you: is where the original idea came from for Boys Go to Jupiter?
I think the first thing that things started sticking to was I had read this New York Times article about an orange juice company called Natalie's Orange Juice, and the thrust of the article was that the founder of the company was trying to pass the orange juice company on to her daughter, and that there was some growing pains there. And I actually did not read the article because it was behind a paywall, so I pretty much just had what I gave you, and then I think like because of that, my mind started worrying. And I'm from Florida, so I think the idea of orange juice was already very special to me. The idea of this like almost like I saw it as like a chamber drama of like how you pass an orange juice company on to your successor, and then somehow this delivery boy character came into it, and then that ended up being my way into understanding the world of suburban Florida and the gig economy. Um, and then I handed it over to Jack, and he took it from there.
Excellent. So, Jack, tell us what initially drew you that you want to be part of this project and voice Billy 5000.
Well, I had been a fan of Julian's for a while, since I think November or October of the year 2020. Um, yeah, I think it just like there was something so like magical and something so like perfect, exactly what I needed, and was like it was exactly what I was into at exactly that time. And it just like I was so one honored when Julian followed me on Instagram, and then we began chatting. And I'm just a tremendous fan. And then this project, I would say I don't think there's a universe in which it's possible for me to say no to this. I think it's so from the beginning to the end. And I was an Uber Eats driver in college and a little after college, and I was just seeing a lot of things that happen in this script that happened in real life, kind of. And I had just, yeah, I just, it felt too easy to make that decision.
So, Jack, you totally relate to Billy 5000 on his race to $5,000 because of the gig economy.
I relate to him a lot. I certainly related to him a lot when I was in college, and I was like trying to make exactly the right amount of money that I needed to go to Aldi to buy like peanut butter and then like a soy sauce. And then I'm like, okay, all right, with this, I have a good sauce. I can make some food I'm gonna eat. And then I started baking my own bread because I'm like, okay, if I bake my own loaves of bread, I can actually save $3 per loaf. And it's like the flour, and then it's just like this whole world of like I was like if I drive exactly this many routes, I can do it, and there's surge pricing, and it's just like it just kind of yeah, I relate to that. I get that. I get that.
We certainly do. Julian, did you ever participate in that economy, and where did the number 5,000 came from?
I am like I feel like I'm a little too old for it. Like I did certainly like Craigslist design jobs, and I found odd jobs on Craigslist before this very sophisticated gamified contraption came out. I think if I was a couple years younger, I would have been very addicted to driving for Uber because of how antisocial it is. the fact that you can sort of download a job for yourself without having to talk to anyone and, be given assignments from this sort of like faceless, formless, um, entity that is Uber or Uber Eats or, whatever the dog walking version of that is. But I had some more old school high school jobs. I was a lifeguard. I mowed people's lawns. And then, sorry, I know that question had a part two that had a good answer for, but what was it?
5,000.
5,000. The number 5,000. No, I think everyone has some number in their head of the amount of money they would need to feel pretty good. Like, I don't know, it's probably different for everyone, but I don't think there's anyone out there who doesn't have a belief on some level that there is an amount that that would fix everything. I know I have a number, but I think for a young person, 5,000 just felt like right. I think as a teenager, that kind of could could feel like infinite money to you. Could feel like as a 16-year-old, if you got $5,000, you'd never have to worry about anything again. I remember when I was 16, I won a contest online, a t-shirt design contest, and they sent me $750. And I was like, I don't think I'm ever going to have to work again. Like, I don't see a world where this money runs out. Like, I think, and so Billy 5,000, his last name is 5,000. He's looking for $5,000. I don't know, it just felt good to me. It just felt like the right number. Sorry, and I actually didn't, I said I had a good answer to that, and that was a lie.
You tried, but you know what? 5,000 is the number, and that's what we're going with it with this film.
I
Now,
think, oh, hold on, hold on, hold on.
oh,
I just remember something. Hold on. But I want to look it up and see if it's true. Okay, it is true. In It's a Wonderful Life, he needs $5,000.
oh,
That's the money that he puts in the newspaper and loses, and that's the money that he's gonna kill himself over. So ignore my first answer and use that answer.
of course, in It's a Wonderful Life, I do want to remark that $5,000 back then was probably really a lot of money, but yeah,
It's
there's
some things never change. It's still very hard to get $5,000,
It still rolls off the tongue the same way. It's like, man, if
Mhm.
I had $5,000.
We should have done the whole thing. We should have had you do Jimmy Stewart voice the whole time. What do you mean? It's the gig economy. It's the gig economy.
Now, to the both of you, did you feel that Boys Go to Jupiter is much more of a social commentary of the that Generation Z, going through life, what they go through day to day, trying to make ends meet, or even like I want to say like internet social commentary, of even the influencer culture and so on. Do you feel that that's what this film is actually trying to show us out in the world?
I think I wouldn't say that I had an express goal of sending out any particular message socially. I think it was like I more wanted to tell the story of a teenager living in today's world. I do find often when I watch movies, I'm asking myself why aren't movies talking about the problems that I have, which are kind of more specific than just needing money, but like going through these very um, bizarre Byzantine confusing systems to get money. I saw Problemista, Julio Torres's movie, and then we had a really great talk about it where we were kind of saying to each other, we're like, every movie should be about this stuff. Like every movie should be about how confusing it is to try to pay off your credit card balance or to be on customer service with someone for 6 hours. I think for me, I think a lot of this sort of, I was actually quite surprised when the movie started screening and people were talking about it as being anti-capitalist or being about capitalism because I think to me it was just about everyday life in contemporary times, and you can't really talk about that without talking about these things that loom very large over us.
That's true. Jack, did you feel it was a social commentary?
I mean, when I was reading it, no, I think that wasn't really what I was taking across. I feel like I was just more like glued into these characters, these total oddballs, and I was just like fell in love with them. Um, and yeah, I think like there are certainly characters who are like I guess like looking back who are like, symbolic and like they could be symbols for certain ideals. But no, I think when I watched the movie and when I read the script, I was just totally enamored by these absurd, creative little guys.
Very true. So, Jack, how was your experience voice acting for a project like this?
Um, it was I was expecting it to be I think it Julian came to me with like this basically like handed it to me on a platter, being like, "This is you, this is you," and I was like, "This is me. Okay, this is me." And it's just like I feel like it was it felt very natural. It felt very natural. It felt very natural to things that I had gone through. Um, it felt just like this world that was so insane. It was like perfect. I mean, like it was absurd in ways that I love, and things that I make in my own work. And I just felt like it just fit perfectly with yeah, with all of my with my life. It just, it was hard not to feel like it was it's just like the perfect puzzle piece. So this doesn't really answer your question, but I loved the experience. It was an awesome 8 hours.
I'm going to being in the booth was so fun. I would just do that every day. This movie was my first time ever going to a recording studio. And the studio we recorded at in LA called Igloo Music was like very posh. Like, you know, fridge full of treats, really nice carpeted studio. I had the button that you could press to like pipe in your voice. I felt like we were in a movie. Like I felt like we were in a music biopic. Like especially when we worked on the songs, just like, hey, wait a minute, say that again. Like, I don't know, it's silly, but as it's fun. It's like this is animation is such a solitary thing, and even when you're working on a project with a lot of people, you're just at your station for the most part, chipping away at your piece of it. And so to be like in the room with people who I've looked up to for a long time, like Jack, was like I felt like I had won some sort of contest.
Wow. Speaking of recording studios, Julian, can you talk about the music behind this film? You know, all the synthesization that came out of it.
Sure, yeah. I kind of I love musicals, and the musicals that I really love have a very specific and strong musical point of view. Like I think this movie kind of has a weird relationship with Grease, where well, I just love Grease, but what I love about it is it's like we're doing the 50s and we're gonna do a bunch of like bad versions of 50s music as we remember it. And I think the musical point of view in this movie is like, well, this is what the characters in the movie would listen to, or this is what Billy 5000 would make if he was making music on his laptop in his sister's garage. So it's very lo-fi and fuzzy. And then with that, Jack recorded 5 songs in character as Billy, and they are like kind of the magic glue that holds everything together for me, at least.
I was going to say, Jack, talk about your that performance for the music for yourself.
I think kind of what I was saying earlier, it's just like it felt so perfect for me. I had driven for, Uber Eats, and also that entire time in which I was driving for Uber Eats, I had this dead set goal where I'm like, I'm going to record a single album every single 3 months. And if I do this for like 5 months in a row, I'm going to become amazing at making music. And so I would just do this like completely by myself in my room, and then I would just like hand it to my roommates like 3 months later. I'd be like, "Hey, I made this," and they're like, "What? That's what you were doing in there?" And I just like, it's like the same kind of like this bedroom kind of pop, kind of like lo-fi, kind of dreamy, kind of super distorted. It's like it's the same. I was cooking with the same ingredients.
And Julian, and animation fans, when they watch this, they will always ask about animation, the animation of this film. And you use the open source Blender. Can you talk about
That's right.
the decision of using Blender for this? Because a lot of people have their own styles of animation, and sometimes it's like sharp and clear, and then you wanted to make it more computerized with the with Blender. Tell us about this style.
Yeah, sure. I am so happy that Blender is like having this incredible moment where it's like, okay, when Flo won the Oscar this year, I was like screaming,
Mhm.
crying, standing up like, that's my software. My software won the Oscar. I've been using Blender for 10 years. And I think what's really great about it is one, it is free and open source. And then two, there's like sort of an incredible community that I really leaned on for support and education as I was like learning how to make this movie. Um, the style of the movie, it's a visual language that I've been working in for 10 years. And it comes out of a lot of the limitations of the technology. Like Blender is infinitely powerful, but I'm working on like a little MacBook computer, which is not infinitely powerful. So, instead of trying to do some of the same things that huge $100 million CGI movies do, it's like, what kind of stories can you tell? What kind of expressions and feelings can you get out of the most simple forms? I guess I would say that's the stylistic mandate of it. And then the Florida color palette informs it, and the sort of the isolation of the characters and the way they're moving through life informs the design as well. I'll lean on this sort of cliche idea that it's like story first, but it's actually story and restrictions like dancing together, I would say. It's like, how do you find the story that you have the tools to tell? And this one was that for me.
Well said. And Julian, I know that you're from Florida, but tell us about the choice of Jupiter as the setting, because when people hear the title, they think of it's going to be an alien film, but it's really about Jupiter, Florida.
It is like it's so I was on Google Maps a lot making this movie. I went on Google Street View to find like a ton of stuff because I haven't been back to Florida in a long time. It's probably been 10 years. And I grew up outside of Tampa, and I looked on Google Street View all around Tampa, um, surrounding suburbs, surrounding cities. So Jupiter over on the other side of the coast kind of just kept catching my eye as a word. I thought it was so funny that it was there, and it really felt like that was right. That it feels a little sci-fi, a little magical, and that it also has a Florida connection. I also am learning that not everyone knows the rhyme. Girls go to college to get more knowledge. Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider, which I think is like a very specific generational schoolyard rhyme that I thought everyone knew. So my bad.
And I'm assuming, Jack, you never been to Jupiter yourself.
No, but I was familiar with that rhyme, and I also thought it was ubiquitous. This is it was I guess confusingly news to me.
Well said. And I've taken both enough time from both of you, but tell us what's up next on your projects.
What if I stole Jack's answer and then he had nothing? I'm working on TikToks for NPR.
I'm building a house. I'm building a house.
Oh
I
yeah,
got some
I
ducks. I got to take care of some ducks.
I am mostly taking care of my ducks. That is true. Sorry, now I'm being flippant, but I have become very superstitious about announcing new projects. So I will say I'm writing a new script, but I'm also like taking it easy and yeah, renovating this old house that I moved into a couple months ago.
Wow. Well, then tease us this, even though maybe you're paranoid. Is there a possibility of a sequel to Boys Go to Jupiter, or you're satisfied with this film?
I I've thought about what it would be. It would obviously be boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. And I think I would, if I did it, it would be okay, we pick up after the end of the movie without spoiling anything. let's say 9 months have passed. It's the end of summer. The character of Freckles is going to join the army the next day. And so we do a one crazy night story where the boys drive all around town trying to get some booze before Freckles has to go get shipped off to the Middle East.
Well, that would be some story, but you know what?
But I want
Yeah.
someone else to do it. I would love someone. Yeah, you don't even have to get the rights from me. It's just go for it. I don't care. If someone wants to make the movie about Freckles, I'll send them the 3D models and they can do it.
Well, Jack, that's your cue since he's taking your NPR TikToks.
Oh,
You take my sequel.
I was gonna say I'll voice it. If someone you can take the models and I'll voice it. But just yeah, I'll voice Billy in whatever capacity.
Excellent. Well, Julian, Jack, thank you very much for ending our day with Boys Go to Jupiter. I enjoy this. I enjoy this interview very much, and I also watched Flow at Animationist Film Festival. I mean, you guys had a tough competition at that film
There's no
festival.
competition. There's no competition. That movie freaking rocks. It blows, it's awesome. So I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see Blender movies. I hope that 100 more come out in the next couple of years.
Well, you guys are starting this trend, so thank you very much to the both of you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Gig. It was
Oh,
great chatting.
thank you so much.